It's April Fool's Day today, and as I've already done videos on Tudor court fools like Will Summer and Jane the Fool, I thought I'd look at some Tudor fools, i.e. Tudor people who did really foolish things. The Tudor courts were full of ambitious, reckless, and sometimes downright foolish courtiers. Some made fatal miscalculations, while others embarrassed themselves spectacularly. Here's a list of some foolish courtiers whose actions led to their downfalls, or at least major humiliation. Number 1. Edward Stafford, 3rd Duke of Buckingham, executed in 1521. Foolish mistake? Flaunting his wealth and allegedly listening to prophecies about the king. With his Plantagenet blood, Stafford had a strong claim to the throne, but he arrogantly flaunted his status, building a magnificent household and treating himself like a king. Henry VIII had zero tolerance for potential rivals, and Buckingham was arrested, tried for treason, and beheaded. Lesson: if you're a Tudor courtier, don't bring too much attention to your royal bloodline, especially if the king is rather paranoid. Number 2. Thomas Culpeper, executed in 1541. Foolish mistake? Having secret meetings with Queen Katherine Howard. A favourite of Henry VIII, Culpeper abused his privileged position as a groom of the Privy Chamber to pursue a dangerous flirtation with Queen Katherine. Whether they were lovers or not, their secretive meetings were foolish in the extreme. When their trysts were discovered, Culpeper was arrested, tried, and executed. Lesson: if you're in Henry VIII's court, getting too close to the Queen is never a smart move, especially if the king is ageing, jealous, and suspicious. Number 3. Francis Dereham, executed in 1541. Foolishly came to court and boasted about his closeness to Queen Katherine Howard, leading to his arrest, torture, and execution. Dereham had had a sexual relationship with Katherine while he was working in her step-grandmother's household. They'd even referred to each other as husband and wife. After Katherine went to court, Dereham followed her, seeking employment in her household, and he just couldn't refrain from boasting about how close they'd been. Lesson: if your ex marries a paranoid king known for executing people, stay away, run away. Don't go to court and boast about your past with the Queen. Duh. Number 4. Henry Howard, Earl of Surrey, executed in 1547. He made a rather foolish mistake. He put the royal arms of England in his coat of arms. Surrey was a brilliant poet, a loyal soldier and courtier, but his arrogance and recklessness led to his downfall. He openly mocked the rising power of Edward Seymour and made enemies at court. His biggest blunder, adding the arms of his ancestor Edward the Confessor and the arms of England to a shield he had painted at his home, a move that really looked like he was claiming the throne. He was arrested for treason and executed just days before Henry VIII died. Lesson: if you're at the Tudor court, don't make your coat of arms look too royal unless you want your head chopped off. Number 5. Thomas Seymour, executed in 1549. Foolish mistake was trying to marry Princess Elizabeth and breaking into the king's bedroom. The brother of Jane Seymour and uncle to Edward VI, Thomas Seymour wanted more power and was jealous of his brother serving as Lord Protector. He spoke of marrying Elizabeth or Mary, Henry VIII's daughters, raising suspicions that he wanted to seize control of England. His stupidest moment? Allegedly breaking into Edward VI's bedchamber with a loaded pistol, supposedly to rescue the king from his other advisors. Oh, and he killed the king's dog in the process. He was caught, arrested, and eventually executed for treason. Lesson: if you're trying to gain power, breaking into the king's bedroom with a gun is really not the way to do it. Number 6. Robert Devereux, 2nd Earl of Essex, executed in 1601. Foolish mistake, rebelling against Elizabeth I after receiving a scolding from her. Essex was one of Elizabeth I's favourites, but his hot temper and arrogance led to him repeatedly insulting and defying the Queen. After failing to suppress a rebellion in Ireland and returning to England without the Queen's permission, he barged into her chambers uninvited, a major breach of protocol. Furious at being publicly humiliated afterwards, he tried to lead a coup against Elizabeth in London. The rebellion flopped within hours and he was arrested and executed. Lesson: if the Queen of England slaps you down, don't throw a tantrum and start a rebellion. It won't end well. Accept the punishment and try to get back into her good graces. Number 7. Katherine Grey, Countess of Hertford. Died in captivity 1568. Foolish mistake, secretly marrying without Elizabeth I's permission. Katherine was Lady Jane Grey's younger sister and had a claim to the throne. She secretly married Edward Seymour, son of the former Lord Protector, without Elizabeth's approval. A massive blunder. When Elizabeth found out, she was furious and had Katherine locked up in the Tower of London. Katherine remained under house arrest until her death, never regaining royal favour. Lesson: if you're a royal woman, don't marry without the monarch's permission, especially if you're in the line of succession. Number 8. Lady Margaret Douglas, King Henry VIII's niece and, well, a Tudor romance disaster. Foolish mistake, repeatedly engaging in forbidden relationships, leading to multiple imprisonments. Lady Margaret Douglas, daughter of Margaret Tudor, Dowager Queen of Scotland, had royal blood, which meant she was closely watched. Any romantic entanglement without royal approval was dangerous. Margaret, however, didn't seem to care. She fell in love with Lord Thomas Howard, a member of the powerful Howard family. They secretly became engaged without Henry VIII's permission. Fatal mistake. Henry discovered the relationship and was furious. They were both imprisoned in the Tower of London in 1536. Howard died in prison, and Margaret was eventually released after falling ill, but her reputation was forever tainted. And then she fell in love with another Howard man, Sir Charles Howard, in 1540, which also saw them both punished. You'd think Margaret would have learnt her lesson, but no. In Elizabeth I's reign, she supported her son Henry Stuart Lord Darnley's marriage to Mary Queen of Scots without Elizabeth's permission, creating a huge political storm. Elizabeth I saw the marriage as a threat and had Margaret imprisoned for her role in arranging it. Lesson: if you're a royal woman in the Tudor court, don't secretly get engaged or arrange marriages without the monarch's approval. Number 9. Catherine Howard, Henry VIII's fifth queen, executed in 1542. Foolish mistake, playing with fire by sneaking around behind the king's back and having secret trysts with another man. Catherine Howard had several secret meetings with Thomas Culpeper, a man I've already mentioned, while on the royal progress to the north of England in 1541, spending hours in his company in the dead of night. Whatever they were doing, it wasn't wise, and they both ended up losing their heads. Lesson: if you're the wife of a paranoid king who's already executed a wife, your own cousin, and set aside 2 others, behave yourself impeccably. Number 10. Jane Boleyn, Lady Rochford, sister-in-law of Queen Anne Boleyn and lady-in-waiting to Queen Catherine Howard. Executed 1542. Foolish mistake, helping a queen betray a king. Jane Boleyn lost her husband George Boleyn and her sister-in-law to the executioner in May 1536, after they were accused of incest and plotting to kill the king. She went on to serve Queens Jane Seymour, Anne of Cleves, and then Catherine Howard, helping Catherine have her secret meetings with Culpeper. Lesson: if you've seen one queen executed for allegedly betraying the king, don't get involved helping another do so. Run for your life. Tudor court life was dangerous, political and cutthroat, but some courtiers made shockingly bad decisions that sealed their fate. And those are just 10 Tudor fools off the top of my head, and I'm sure you can think of others. Which of these foolish courtiers do you think made the worst blunder? And are there any that you think weren't fools, just victims of circumstances or of a monstrous monarch? Do let me know in the comments, and do share people that you consider to be Tudor fools. I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye bye.